On today's collectible spot, we're going to be having a look at the Mezco Mez-itz 2-inch minifigures of the DC Universe. Today we're going to be looking at Green Lantern and his evil nemesis, Sinestro. Loving the Mez-itz. This is the final 2-pack that make up Series 1 of the Mez-itz DC Universe figures. And as you can see, they are quite small. I mean, even really the packaging is quite small. The downside, unfortunately, with these is, as with any other Mez-itz and Mighty Mugs, probably something I forgot to mention with the other two sets is the fact that these are actually rather expensive. I'm trying to remember what I paid for the three figures, or the 3 2-pack figures. It might have been about $25, $26. These certainly are not cheap. As with most vinyl figures, or most figures such as this, they don't tend to go all that cheap. And you know what the problem is too, at least for me, we don't have these available locally in retail. I had to order these online. You could probably find these at comic book stores. I haven't been able to find these in my local area, but I'm sure if you look hard enough for anyone that was looking for these themselves, you could probably check your local comic book stores and maybe they might stock these. Speaking of other figures that make up this wave, we've got the Superman and Mongol 2-pack, the Batman and Joker, as well as the Green Lantern, and of course the Sinestro that we'll be reviewing today. To see the entire Mezco catalog, visit mezcotoys.com. I was really surprised. I mean, I wasn't expecting these as small as they were. I think Spot apparently had no idea how big 2 inches was, but I think I was almost expecting these to be larger than what they were. And when I got them out of the package, I was actually thrown for a loop for a second, where I was really surprised with how small they are. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why I find these such a fun little collectible. It's just the fact that for how small they are really, really detailed. Needless to say, I'm going to stop doing this because we got to open these up. We're going to have a better look at the 2 figures that make up this set, which is the Green Lantern and the Sinestro. There's more on the way, guys. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll first have a look at Sinestro, and one thing I really like is the fact that they've given him a Sinestro Corps outfit as opposed to a regular, the regular Sinestro, the classic Sinestro costume. Now that's not to say the fact that they've already got this, or really by any means, I mean if you already have, say, another set of these, providing these are fairly easy to take off, which I'm not even going to try, just in case I break the peg on it. But if you are bold enough, you could probably take off Sinestro's head and maybe put it on another Hal Jordan body, if you really want a Green Lantern version of Sinestro. But it's a very rewarding, I think, figure to get. The fact that they put it in the Sinestro costume, it's just really bright, and I think that offsets the fact that as nice as Hal Jordan is, he is just basically a green and black. The yellow on the Sinestro costume really pops. I also really like the face. The face is probably one of my favorite looking Sinestro faces. He's got really evil eyes. Look how evil those eyes are. Not to mention he's got really creepy Spock-like eyebrows. Of course, the classic Sinestro mustache. You got to throw that in there as well. The paintwork is some of the nicest I've seen, is actually on these figurines here, right down to Sinestro's ring. Obviously without fingers. Kind of looks, he's just kind of got a blob on his hand. But you know what? At least it's outlined. There are many DC Direct Green Lanterns that don't even have that. And look, and again, how small is that that you're actually getting that in there as well. The Sinestro core logo there. Really nice. Really, really nice. In the way of his articulation, and it would be the same with all the Mez-itz, is he's got a swivel in the leg, which will allow the legs to move and whatnot, but you really can't do too much with them. I mean, if anything, they're good to adjust here and there if your Mez-itz isn't standing quite right. You can move the leg just a little bit. It might just be enough that it's you know, it won't knock the figure over. Underneath there as well is the Mez-itz, the Mezco logo there. He's also got a swivel in the arm that will allow the arms to move back and forth. And he's got a very satisfying ball joint in the head. So you can kind of get him stanced with his ring there. Putting him down there. Oh, by the way, Sinestro here, I'm gonna give him a 7. Really, really nicely painted. I mean, that's the one thing I have to keep. I'm probably going to sound like a broken record doing these reviews, but the one thing that these Mez-itz really excel in is a fantastic paint job. Putting him down. Let's have a look at Hal Jordan. There's a certain level of smugness, or maybe he's just really happy. I don't know, he's just kind of got that kind of up smile going on there. I like that the mask is not black, it's actually a dark green, and then there's just a lighter shade of green over top of it, just to kind of give you a layer there. Speaking of layers, his hair is really nice. I dig that. I dig Lantern's hair. He's got himself the classic Green Lantern suit there with the ring. The ring's right there, guys. Now you can see this is a black suited superhero. I like that they've put the lighter gray there as highlights. Really is added to the figure. There are some areas like here where you can see, trying not to touch his crotch, but right around here you can see that it's not quite straight where they've put the costume in. But you know what, though? It's still a really decent figure. Articulation would be the same. I find these two figures, as opposed to like the Batman, for example, the head is really, really loose. Now, it's on a ball joint. It's not really going to be a big deal. Again, you could maybe mix and match these, but the way that they're fixed in there, I'm almost thinking that that's a really large ball joint in there. And that peg is not going to come out unless you break it. It almost makes me think, too, that they've sandwiched the head over top of the peg, intending that the head would never come off. So, you know what? I'll rewind what I just said earlier. I probably would say do not try to take these off. The more I'm looking at it, I can even see it from there. It almost looks like that peg is a little larger than the head, than the whole of the head. To try to take this off, you're definitely going to break it. So maybe mixing and matching is not a good idea, but if these lines continue to do well, I'm sure Mezco will probably release a Green Lantern version of Sinestro. Hal Jordan here, I'm going to give him a 7.5. And just out of curiosity, if anyone was interested, I'll bring in the other two superheroes to show you guys. I think my favorite still is the Superman. You can clearly see between the three how well Superman really pops in this set. But also what I mentioned with the other figures, if anyone really cared, I would say this is a spots pick. If you want a really neat collectible, it's a little pricier, unfortunately. These Mezco Mez-itz are where it's at. These little 2-inch guys are really cute, perfect for something to sit next to a desk, or you know, on your desk. But something that, if they continue to put these out, this guy is likely going to be continuing to collect them. I have a lot of fun, I think, looking at these guys, picking them up, you know, playing with them, whatnot. Today's collectible spot, we're having a look at the Mezco Mez-itz DC Universe figures. We're looking at Sinestro Core Sinestro and Green Lantern. Again, a solid set. Can't wait to get more of these. I thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more collectible spots to come, and I will see you guys next time.